Hey, how's it going guys? Phil here, and this is a review for the Tesion rubber wood pizza peel. This is the pizza peel. It's made of hard, dense rubber wood and measures 20 inches long with a 12-inch by 12-inch paddle surface. At the end of the handle is a hanging hole for storage. The handle is easy to grip and the peel is about half an inch thick. The edges are tapered on both sides and have a 3/4 inch spread. That makes the flat surface a bit smaller overall, which comes out to about 10.5 inches in diameter. The wood is unoiled and sanded, but the surface did feel a bit hairy, so I'll lightly sand it with some 800 grit sandpaper. You can see the lines where the boards were glued together, so mine's actually 3 pieces. Because the board is tapered on both sides, you can use it in either orientation. I'm going to go over the product performance first, then follow up with my recipe for the pizza. So let's get started. To prepare the pizza peel, make sure it's washed and dried. Right before you're ready to use it, sprinkle some flour on the surface and rub it in. Make sure the entire board is covered and dust the board again. There's nothing worse than when your dough sticks to the board. Assemble your pizza or bread loaf directly on the board. Be sure to work quickly, as the longer the dough spends on the board, the more likely it is to stick. When transferring your pizza or loaf to a preheated pizza stone, move the peel back and forth quickly to slide it onto the stone. You can use the peel to remove the pizza from the stone as well. Overall, the pizza peel worked great, and the dough didn't stick to it at all. It's very well made, and it cleans up easily. That's it for the review on the pizza peel, but if you're interested in the recipe that I used for the pizza, keep watching. I'm using a variation of no-knead pizza dough, so I'll need to start a day in advance. I've measured out the ingredients in grams with a kitchen scale. Start with 250 grams of all-purpose flour. Sprinkle in half a gram of active dry yeast, add 2 grams of sugar and 6 grams of salt. Lastly, stir in 180 grams of lukewarm water at about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Mix until all the ingredients are wet. It should form a sticky, lumpy, rough dough. Now we'll just cover it and let it sit at room temperature for 24 hours. Okay, so it's been about 24 hours and now the dough looks nice and hydrated. It's also risen quite a lot. I'm going to start by flouring my work surface generously. I'm using a large non-stick silicone pastry mat because this dough is going to be very sticky, and it just cleans up so nice on these. Now, with floured hands, I'm going to gently pour out the dough onto the flour. Next, I'm going to flour the top of the dough again pretty generously because it's so wet. Now I'll cut it in half to make 2 pieces. Each one will make a 10 to 12 inch pizza pie. So let me set this one aside. And now with one piece, you're going to stretch it out by pulling one side and folding it back to the center. Then stretch out the opposite side and fold it back over the first. Turn the dough 90 degrees and then repeat on the sides that you haven't pulled. Pull out one side, fold it in, then pull out the other side and fold it in. Now I'm going to flip the dough over and pull the edges down towards the bottom to create a ball with a smooth top. If your dough is sticky or wet, dust it with more flour. Now that we have this smooth ball, place it smooth side up into a floured glass bowl so that it doesn't stick and cover it for 45 minutes to an hour to let it rise again. You'll do the same thing with the other half of the dough. Stretch and fold, turn, stretch, fold, and then pull the edges down to the bottom and place it in a floured bowl. While we're waiting for the dough to rise, put a pizza stone or pizza steel on the middle rack in your oven, and go ahead and preheat your oven to 550 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the oven is preheated, you'll want to wait at least 30 minutes to make sure the stone comes up to temperature before cooking on it. After the dough has risen for an hour, flour your work surface again, and the top of the dough if it looks wet. Carefully pour the dough out, trying to keep it in a round ball shape. Now deflate with your fingertips from the center outward. Be careful not to touch the outermost perimeter. This helps form a puffy, crunchy crust. Flour your hands and carefully pick up the dough without squeezing the crust. You'll stretch the dough with your knuckles. Switch back and forth from hand to hand. If it feels wet or sticky, dust it with flour. Let gravity do most of the stretching for you. As you switch hands, turn the dough a few degrees each time so you stretch around all sides. Try to keep the shape as round as possible. As the dough gets larger, you can use both hands on the same side and walk your knuckles around the pizza, just behind the crust. If your dough tears, don't worry. Just pinch the dough together and make sure the hole is sealed. Finally, carefully transfer your pizza crust to the peel, making sure the bottom is completely dry and floured. For the next part, you'll want to work quickly, so the dough doesn't get a chance to stick to the peel. Add your sauce sparingly. Too much sauce and it may release a lot of liquid, giving you a soggy crust. You should still be able to see some dough through the sauce. Now add the cheese. Now put your toppings on. I'm just going to add some pepperoni. Finish off with more cheese, and now it's time to test that the pizza will slide off the peel. Shake the peel gently forward and back and left and right to ensure the pizza is sliding freely. Then transfer it to the stone with quick back and forth motions. Bake for 6 to 7 minutes. Our 7 minutes is up, and it's time to take the pizza out. Use the peel to remove the pizza from the pizza stone. It may be easier to push the pizza off the stone onto the peel. Let the pizza cool down a bit before digging in. Bon appetit! I hope you enjoyed this review. You can ask me any questions in the comments. I'll put a link to the product in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and join me next time.